everyone, I'm a hysterical deaf woman, and this is my YouTube channel.
Is to take advantage of one of my favorite rewards apps, the Drop app. Thank you, Drop, for sponsoring this video. What is Drop? It's the easiest to use rewards app that gives you rewards points on purchases that you make. And I love it. It's so easy. There's no red tape. It's convenient. It's fast, and you don't have to cut any coupons. You don't have to scan any receipts. And what I love the most about it is there's so many easy ways to earn rewards points within the app to then redeem for gift cards at your favorite places like Starbucks.
I forgot to. It can Christmas of your hand treatment. Sorry, I just got up, guys, and this is what I get. So, obviously, these are some of the problems. Christmas of your hand treatment. So, somebody is drinking while they're doing the CCs. Woohoo! Happy Friday, everyone. It is Friday, isn't it? I can't keep track now. I gotta slow down with this camera on a stick. That beautiful, beautiful mountain today. It went down below freezing last night. That temperatures are rising to 60s and the 70s next week, 77. So we'll almost be getting Cali weather. But take a look at that view. I just love to come here and sit out on the front porch in the front yard. There's all different angles. This is a little further down the yard, and then if I go to the east end, there's a bench there to sit, and you can see all the way down to North Bonneville. Look that up on Google. You can't really see that far. I'm exaggerating slightly, but you can see a long ways. And this gorgeous, gorgeous mountain that I once was a ski instructor on for a while and a chairlift operator. And then I got frostbite on my feet because it's not the same as Cali weather. It's very, very wet here. And the skiing is completely different. And everybody said, hey, you're pretty good for a chairlift operator. And I'm thinking, I was a junior professional nationwide, and then I tried to ski here and I made a total ass out of myself, but that's a whole nother lifetime in story. So I'm gonna go down here a little ways and sit. Murphy's out playing with a stick, and today's vlog we're going to talk about if you've ever been coerced, manipulated, bullied into getting hearing aids. And we'll talk about that a little bit, and hopefully you will join in the discussion by liking or commenting on this video. So if you are an in-betweener where you are almost completely deaf, but you're not exactly hearing, this is the vlog for you. This is a hysterical deaf woman. And it is just about the weekend. You! So here I am out with my camera on a stick. There are a lot of hawks and eagles around still, and we get a lot of, not albatross, what am I trying to think of, the seagulls actually down there. So it's pretty cool, all assortments of animals and birds. Haven't seen the turkeys for days, but they have various homes like cats. It's like they have several different people that feed them, so. Anyway, today's vlog, as I was saying, was about being coerced into getting hearing aids and wondering if anybody else has been bullied into that. A couple years ago, when I had some very old hearing aids that I had gotten from the Lions Club, but went through the vocational rehab, I was finally able to get on to basic health and go in for another hearing test. And well, I guess you'd call it the technician at your ear, nose, and throat guy. They have a technician on hand usually in most places. And then, of course, you just have your hearing aid dealers. And this guy was actually telling me that I needed to get both my hearing aids fixed, no matter what the cost. And, of course, I didn't have any money at all at that time. I wasn't even on disability. And he really bullied me, as many people have for, 40 years or so, into doing this, or I was going to lose the ability to understand words, that our brain would just stop doing that. Now, hopefully I have a few experts that are watching some of these vlogs, and people that just have the same experiences as I do. But I was actually bullied and bullied and bullied on that day that I went in. I was trying to get disability. And instead I got this lecture about how I should be wearing my hearing aids that I couldn't afford to fix, and they were too old to really do the job for my type of hearing loss. And it was a very frustrating, angry day for me, and I was very humiliated. Just the people that are in the industry and the doctors themselves not really understanding what it's like for somebody that has a significant amount of hearing loss. Some of them got the isolation part, but they didn't get how we couldn't always wear our hearing aids, not understanding it at all, why it wasn't working. Do you understand words with hearing aids? Yes, you do a little bit. You're actually able to read lips better. You still have to look at people's lips. This is my experience anyway. I don't know if this is yours, but I find that even with the hearing aids, I have to constantly be turning them to the different buffers that they have that allow you to hear sound close up and not the ones in the background. Well, none of that worked for me anyway. I spent all this money, and my parents did as I was growing up, to get these very, very special hearing aids. And they did not do the trick at all. People wanted me to be a hostess and be up front because I had this big smile, and this very, very white blonde hair. And I kept saying I cannot do that type of job. I can't answer the phone and talk to people and take reservations. Well, after 2 hours, they finally talked me into it. And of course, it didn't work longer than a month. And really just stressed me out very, very, very much. I started losing my hair, my skin was breaking out, I lost weight. So these are serious issues then. I mean, when you're bullied into wearing the hearing aids, and then people expecting you to be able to do certain jobs, thinking, it's a cure, it's a miracle, you can hear, you have hearing aids. No, folks, you don't hear because of the hearing aids, really. It helps. It enables you to do more, but be pushed harder and more expected out of you. That is actually way more than you can do. The hearing in the ears is not something I'm a total expert on, only than my experience. But if you look at the charts inside the cochlear itself, inside the ear, and you're seeing all these little hairs and then things that vibrate, it's very, very complicated what parts vibrate to carry the sound from the ear to the brain to send off the whole signals of what you're hearing. And a whole nother matter to understand it, in my opinion. It may do that, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to interpret something that way. If I'm thinking about, let's say, tennis shoes I'm going to buy, anything that comes out of someone's mouth that sounds like tennis shoes, I can't think of a word right now, but you know what I mean, I will automatically hear tennis shoes. You said tennis shoes, right? No. And they said, no. They said 10s and 2s. Do you have any 10s and 2s? Because I need change for my, 20. But, so, you know what I'm talking about, folks, that have that problem. You still don't hear everything. It's very, very complicated, the brain, the whole psychology of it, background noise, what's going on in your own brain. if you're ADD like I am and you're washing people's tennis shoes and instead of looking at their mouth, it's all very, very complicated, so many things. And just a second, folks. Murphy! I may have lost my dog. Oh, there he is over there. Okay, sorry about that. I try to give him some romperoo time, like I said, where he is he needs some time off the leash too. You know how it is if you're a dog owner. Sometimes some of them won't even go poop unless you take them off the leash. What you doing, kid? Are you being a good boy? Get the stick. Get the stick so mommy can talk. Get the stick. Yeah. But anyway, getting back to that day, I didn't get those hearing aids fixed. I did get on partial disability. I only got $100 a month. But no sympathy, no empathy whatsoever in a hearing place for people who have hearing loss. No empathy. They expect us to just snap out of it and get better. We'll give you hearing aids, you're cured. And folks who are like me, you know that's not true. And if you don't know sign language or you're older and it's just, it's difficult to learn sign language. It's not something you do in 5 or 6 months. You might be able to learn some American Sign Language, ASL. But if you go to Britain, you got BSL, British Sign Language, of course. And you should watch Jazzy, who's on YouTube as well. She's got a great channel, and she really goes into all that. Completely different sign language, or not completely different, but so we're talking about slang in different areas in the U.S. too. So if you do learn sign language in one area, you might go over to Portland, or I might go over to North Carolina, and they got a completely different thing going there. So it's not as easy as it sounds, folks, right? You guys know this. But so I was humiliated about that, not knowing sign, and then not understanding all my needs, wants, and desires, and my shortcomings. I'm a whole person. I'm not just somebody you can stick aids in and say, hey, see ya. It's a whole person kind of thing. And it's very, very complicated, as I said. The whole thing with the brain and the hearing is complicated. Even with cochlears, my father got cochlears at a later age. It's better to do it when you're younger, when your brain can learn these things easier, because it's all artificial hearing, and it's a mechanical voice. I don't have cochlears yet. I am a candidate for it. Maybe I should have gotten them. I don't know. I've asked about this before, what people thought of that. I didn't really get pushed into doing it. I would say with those, I actually got through the test with flying colors, I should say, because they wanted to push it to get me in, to get the insurance to approve it. And at that time, we weren't understanding that I really was that deaf. We thought they were pulling a scam on us, so we got kind of upset that, well, we don't want to do this if it's not really covered, it's not really time. And you do have to go to, training, I guess you'd call it, afterwards. You don't just get the cochlears and go home and say, hey, I can hear, wow. No, you have to relearn, so you have to actually go through this training. You're probably hearing yourself eat and pee and speak for the first time, so that's frightening. Murphy, come on, right now. Murphy. No, I don't want you near those big dogs down there. They got big mastiffs or something, so we're going to head up here. Come here, Murph, come on. Go get the stick up here, please. Yeah. Just when he needs to get in another fight. Well, actually, the mastiff, the other one down at the beach, came after him. He didn't do anything. He was on a leash, and the other dog was not on a leash and just came right up to him and bit him. Well, he bit back. And he wouldn't let go. That's the thing with pit bulls. They lock on. I don't even know if they mean to, but it wasn't a huge deal. There will be blood. There was a little bit of blood involved, but not any more than had been with my Dijon and with Barky and other dogs I've had. They've gotten in fights. I've seen more blood from when I'm sorry, I'm climbing up this hill a little bit. John got bit by my brother's beagle. So, the little ankle biters. They're not getting off subject here, and I only got a few minutes before this. I won't have enough charge in my car. So thank God, folks. I will shut up. I take some getting used to, and I get pretty hyperactive with my ADDness and excited and angry and passionate about things. So good boy, good boy. But I'm a sincere person. I'll give you that. If you want to hear the truth, I'll probably tell you the truth. If you want to tell me something about your hearing loss or whatever, and how I'm a bitch, I'll probably listen to you and try to have a reasonable conversation if you think I'm being unreasonable. And I'm hoping to get some people my age, even older. I'm out of breath here. Because they get harassed from their kids and their grandkids, I know. They're like, Grandpa, you need to get a hearing aid. You really can't hear. So I didn't get that, and I should have actually when I was starting at 10. They just sent me to school and took those tests. Oh, you can't hear. But then nobody did anything about it. They decided to put me in the special ed classes, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people in special ed classes, but I didn't feel like I fit in that same category. They made me feel like I needed to work harder. I just needed to pay attention more. They didn't say I was ADD at that time. There's just basically, oh, she has a lot of hearing loss for the age of 10, and they figured that was the end of it, but it wasn't. It got worse and worse because it's genetic nerve loss. So that's another reason I can't get the hearing aids that nobody's really paying attention to. And I talk to these doctors that you can't get hearing aids every 5 years unless you have an awful lot of money saved up. These things cost $4,000 now to get 2 of them, and the special devices on them, so you can answer the phone, and so you can hear people's voices but not the background noises. All of this costs a lot of money and some maintenance, and I know it sounds like it's not a huge deal, but they do rub on your ears. I have tiny, tiny ear canals. TMI, but this is a vlog that, is informative. So, and if you have small ear canals, and I'm very small bone, I always had long piano fingers, they called it, a tiny bone, I'm only about 110 now. I've lost even more weight. So my ears are the same. They're getting a little bit bigger. That's from age, but it's not making the inside of my ear any larger. So you get lots of infections when you wear these things, and your ears swell up, and you get horrible headaches and allergies from being stuffed up. And the longer you wear them, the worse it gets. And then noises actually start to really, really hurt you. And then your brain tries to ignore it, and that does a lot of damage. You start getting anxiety. You find yourself getting more and more jumpy because there's just so many noises and they're so loud. So if you go long periods without hearing, especially if you're older, and then somebody wants you to get hearing aids when in your late 60s, 70s, and 80s, it's overwhelming, folks. It's overwhelming to hear voices, to hear yourself, to hear birds, to hear frogs, to hear the toilet flushing, to hear dogs barking, lawnmowers, airplanes, because you are going, what was that? What was that? What did I just hear? Did you say something, Timmy? Did you say something, John or Margaret or whoever? And somebody sneezes, you think they coughed, or the dog barks. It is very, very hard to do. It's let me make sure I'm still on. The red light, yeah. But I'm going to wrap this part up and probably go inside in a little bit or sit down with him. But it's easier for me to wander around and talk and sit with my script, because the first one I did about 2 weeks ago, I looked like an idiot. Like I did not know how to speak. My first time speaking. So that didn't work so well for me to do things that way, and I like to be more natural and talk about something that I actually know something about. So anyway, before I close this portion up, if you're understanding and appreciating what I'm saying, please let me know. Please make some comments, you know, how it has been for you. I don't want to feel so alone. I felt alone most of my life here. I felt alone most of my life, yeah. I just absolutely no friends and not a lot of empathy. My husband has tried to be very patient, and it's very difficult. And there's been no empathy from doctors, especially the ones that deal with the ears, just not understanding it. And when I go inside, I'll probably put a couple graphs up on, I'll Google and get some images of how difficult it is, you know, the what it means to hear, what the ear has to do, and what hearing aids do for it or not do for it. So, but it's a whole thing, and it's not just sticking ears and people that can't hear and say you're cured. No. I'm going to shut this off for now, and so I'm not out in the sun too long here. It's still pretty early in the morning here, believe it or not. I can't be out here too long. So anyway, see you guys in a little bit here. Hey guys, I am back inside, and I haven't taken my shower yet. I just came in here because I wanted to show you what I was laughing at earlier. It's just, sometimes it's so frustrating, but it really cracks me up. Let me turn this around so I can see what I'm filming here. I know there's a bit of a, whatever, the wavy lines here when you get closer, and someone needs to, or I need to Google how to tilt this so you don't get that. But I was getting on Dr. Dre, and every once in a while I get these captions that are really funky, like whoever is doing it is on drugs, on mushrooms, on psychedelics. You know, there's something terribly wrong. They've been drinking all night. I don't know what the deal is, but it's very frustrating for the deaf and for the hearing impaired when you get these. And I'm going to put this in the beginning of my video, probably right after my introduction. But anyway, I don't know why this happens sometimes. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Other people who aren't deaf that also like to do these. Because sometimes they're just handy if you're doing other stuff and you just want to have the captions on, or you're a little bit, have a little bit of hearing loss, or full deaf. But I do your love to you and open your paths to the students for me to purchase of all the while the word, what was that? Spiral is an unwilled grew away? What the hell? Poor gal. She probably doesn't even know this is going on. California, now I know that word. But this is one of our frustrations too, because I get it on my CC phone, and they give us these things and think it solves the problem. But then you get crap like this. And I mean, it reminds me so much of hearing aids. This is what a person is hearing. I'm going to stop this just for a second. I don't know, she has a code. I don't even know if she wants it on here. I should be more respectful, but I'm not making fun of her because it's not her fault. Not sure how this happens. But when you're, let me go back a little bit to that funky part, but even further back, because this is what we hear. Now you see that right there? U19 fan lobes. I mean, it's guessing. It's almost like the person doing this has a hearing loss themselves, but more like me, because this is what I'm hearing. I'll hear something, but this is what I'm hearing. It's obviously not the actual words. I can put on my headphones now to find out what she's really saying, or you can watch her new one, The Top 5 Ingredients for Scars with Dr. Dre. So, and you can tell me what they said. But this is exactly what happened right here. Let me get I can't see because I got the camera in my face, and come on, Arrow. Come on, Arrow. This is unprofessional. But this is what we are hearing, even with hearing aids most of the time. So doctors, if you're out there, hearing aid people, you give us the hearing aids, but our brain may still register it as this. So it's not helping as much as you think it is. And so, I mean, that goes for the SSI people, my ear, nose, and throat doctor that was getting on my case, and the hearing technician. It gets to a point where you have Christmas of your hand. Now that one really cracks me up. Your hand treatment with the Worldwide Fun Course. Oh wow, yeah, I know all about the Worldwide Fun Course. But yeah, anyway, this is what, oops, this is what we are hearing, even if we have the hearing aids. So it doesn't work quite as well as you think it does. Let me turn this off. But I mean, the last thing is spiral of an uniweld grew away, and lovely backdrop I have here. It's actually John's painting from his cabin. But yeah, we're hearing stuff like that and struggling all the time. So when we put the hearing aids, if you watch Switched at Birth, she does it best, the gal, the main lead in that, and what it's like, and having to run around people, you know, and you still got to run around to see their mouth, even with the hearing aids, to see what they're saying, because it will come out looking like spiral as an unweld grew away. So anyway, forgive me for the way I look. I know I'm supposed to be more professional, and I kind of said frick it all because I just had major surgery and I'm still trying to recover. So I think the message is more important, and maybe my feistiness. And if you're like me, you're gonna get it, you know. Some mornings are great, some aren't, because I have fibro from cervical spinal stenosis. So this is real, folks. This is someone's real life, and I do cry a lot, and I get frustrated, and we argue a lot. The dog and I argue. No, we don't. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to look for that chart really quick. I may show it before or after my shower. You may see a clean girl or a really dirty girl. Okay, I am back, and I am still a dirty girl. I'm going to do this while it's fresh in my mind and get this vlog done with. But I don't know if you can see that without the wavy lines. It's all so complicated. But the one that really interests me here without the wavy lines, let me pull back, and I'm going to try to keep it right on there and look above the camera. It says the auditory nerve. It connects the cochlea to the brain, and that's what carries the electrical signals to the brain, is what it's saying. Now, that's very complicated to me because I have genetic nerve damage hearing loss, which is different from other types apparently. I went to OSHU here in Portland, which is an excellent teaching hospital, and they had told me that, or confirmed it. And so it's a very difficult thing because we're talking about the brain signals that go to tell you what you need to do, how you need to hear it, all that jazz. And the cochlea, which they're showing right there, and now that is a spiral-shaped chamber, and it is filled with fluid and lined with hairs. Now that's what I was talking about, where they're lined with hairs, and it converts the vibrations into electric signals. Now isn't that something, folks? I mean, that is so cool. And it is science. We are a wonder. We are a miracle. And when something doesn't work the way it should, it makes us reflect on that more, about what a miracle we are, and all these little parts that we have, all these intricate little parts that we have, and how when they go wrong, it really affects everything in your whole health, your whole being, and the way you communicate with the world, the way it was meant to communicate with another human being. So I can't imagine what it was like way back when in caveman days. I know there's very scientific names to this, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll mispronounce them. But to me, that is absolutely fascinating. I mean, you have the ear canal too that connects the pinna to the ear. I didn't say penis. It almost sounds like I said penis. Pinna. And that's the flap of skin, of cartilage. It collects the sound waves and funnels them. So, I mean, you have all these different things that can be going wrong for somebody to transmit the sound, to finally carry it to the brain. The eardrum is a thin membrane that separates the outer ear and the inner ear. Now they're saying I have a lot of inner ear damage. That's what we usually talk about. Sound waves that travel down the ear canal and make it vibrate. So I mean, it almost sounds like everything's repetitive here. It's very redundant, but each of these has a very specific thing to do. And you can look this up yourself, obviously, but I thought it'd be nice if we could talk about it together. The auditory ossicles, I can't even say, the bones that carry the vibrations from the eardrum to the cochlea. Then they amplify the vibrations. The three bones are called the hammer. And I've seen this, boom, boom, boom. I've watched some YouTube videos. And then they have the anvil and the stirrup part, yeah. So it's kicking the, you know, the other part of it. I can't get my hand there. Kicking it. And they're some of the smallest bones in the human body. So that is really something. So when you have a tiny, tiny ear canal like mine, it complicates it even more with the getting the hearing aid things. And I'm not wearing anything right now, by the way. Can we even see how tiny my ears are? Everything gets bigger as we get older because we're loss of our collagen and our ears are pulling down. They're not really getting bigger. Our nose isn't getting bigger. A little bit, but mainly it's the loss of collagen. So you see, that's why you see older people, right? Does anybody on here that can tell me that? That'd be great. I think it's just mainly pulling down. Everything's dragging down. If you've had hearing aids and you wear earrings, it gets worse. I haven't had anything in my ear since I was, early 20s, because I used to get so many infections. I'd be wearing the hearing aids and get rubbing infections, and then I'd get infections where I had the piercings. So I got rid of that, 25 years old. So unfortunately, I can't look really feminine anymore. And now I just look sloppy and old. But anyway, to me, that is so awesome and so cool, but so complicated. And when these hearing technicians get into all this, I'm just like, okay, whatever. But you're still not understanding how it is for me. And for the longest time, I just shook my head, thought they were the experts, which they are in a lot of ways. I mean, but they still weren't quite getting, and they're still not quite getting how I'm not understanding words because of this thing right here. And I'm going to turn this around one more time. And just read it again. The auditory nerve, it connects the cochlea to the brain and carries the electrical signals to the brain. So that sounds like a complicated thing to me for some neurobiologist. Neurology too, not just the ear, nose, and throat guy and the hearing technician. This is a very complicated thing. And it gets more and more complicated when you have ADD thrown in the mix and your allergies, because they're talking about a lot of water, the chamber filled with fluid. So can you imagine having such a small canal that it fills with so much fluid that you basically have a stuffy head your whole life? And if you have children, and you're watching this, that have hearing loss, you may find that they have ear infections all the time. And you may also find they might be autistic and ADD along with it and have the allergies. They have studies now. I'm not going to get another chart right now. That's a whole nother vlog. But there is some connection to all that genetically. So it's worth looking into. My sisters and brothers all have the exact same thing to some extent. I think I'm the worst, and I can say it for sure, but I was the firstborn, so, and I'm not blaming my parents again. This is not about blaming my dad or my mother, because I just adore them, but because I find this all very fascinating. And but what's even more fascinating is that people are not really understanding and being empathetic to a lot of these situations, but it's difficult when you're not in the situation and you just don't know it. So I'm hoping other people will get on this vlog and tell me that you're a little bit like me. So if you found anything useful out of this vlog, please like, please subscribe, and more than anything, please make some comments so I don't feel so alone. I want you to have a great weekend. I may take the weekend off, I may not. I was doing this every day. I was going to do this weekly. It got to be every day. It's therapeutic for me. So I like it to be therapeutic for you to watch as well and know you're not alone. So I love you guys. hang in there, and let's get the ball rolling about making some more awareness about hearing impaired and the in-betweeners. Thanks, guys. Thank you for putting up with me. Love you. Hugs.